The week was long, your feet are tired, could use a vacation. Just gather round and join with Dub, it's Monday Motivation. Monday Motivation.
Hey friends, happy Monday, good Monday morning, and good Monday motivation as we are winding down hashtag BeatUpFit 2022, the year of hashtag BeatUpFit. And leave the hashtag in the comment below. Tell me a positive thing you've done somebody. It's Christmas week. Hopefully you're doing something for somebody this week. And let's jump right in to our Monday motivation. And let's get on with our quote. First of all, comes from Benjamin Franklin. We all know who Benjamin Franklin is. And that is, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. As we look back at what we've talked about here as we're into December and we're winding down Beat Up Fit. Together, we started by talking about using your imagination to set a goal and knowing where you want to go, and then being willing to go out into the cold to take a chance on some of those goals. And then last week, we talked about investing in yourself. And so I thought interest would be an interesting concept to talk about this week, kind of keeping with the theme. You invest in yourself and building up interest. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. Now, when we hear about somebody wins the lottery, or this person's worth millions of dollars or billions of dollars or whatever, and, at some point in our life, we probably have heard someone say, or we have said, if that were me, I would just put all the money in the bank and live off the interest. I wouldn't change my style of life. I would live off the interest. I would let my money make money for me. And that all sounds well and good, and we all believe we do it, and then it seems like most people that come into money suddenly lose it and spend it all. And we all understand that, especially in our country, in America, we are a company that spends money before we have it. Most of us are guilty of that, using credit card and debt and whatever, and spending money before we have the money. Almost everybody, if you think about mortgages and car loans and things of that nature. And so it's hard to live off the interest, harder than we think. You hear about these people that win the lottery, or these athletes that get a bunch of money early in their life, and then when they're broke, you're like, how could they do that? I think that's, lacking some understanding, some empathy, some sympathy of what happens to people in those situations. That it's not easy. But for the sake of our concept here with Beat Up Fit, investing in knowledge always pays the best interest. Investing in yourself in knowledge always pays the best interest. And what I wanted to think about and talk about a little bit is, as you're setting your goals for 2023, as you use some imagination to come up with some interesting goals, as they maybe are further out in the cold than you've thought in the past, and you're willing to invest in yourself and spend more time on yourself, how can you live off the interest in terms of a better overall life, whatever that means for you, whether that means weight loss, whether that means eating better, whether that means loving bigger, whether that means better financially, better with your family, better at work. The definition of fitness is wide-ranging, and we're not just talking about physical fitness. We're talking about fitness in general. Life fitness, being Dub Fit, being a better person than you were yesterday. That's ultimately the goal. And so how can you live off the interest of that? How does that concept work in lifestyle modifications and trying to be better than you were yesterday? And I think that's an interesting thing to think about, right? Like, how can we define living off the interest of investments that you've made in yourself, investments in knowledge? I think in some of that, right, an investment of knowledge always pays the best interest. You think about that quote, and what Franklin is talking about is, if you just acquire knowledge and you learn and you're studying, you grow, it will always pay off later. It will always pay off later. If the time comes where you need to know something and you don't know it, you're in trouble. If you already know it, you'll never realize it because you just live off that interest. So for us, as you invest in yourself and you think about the things you want to invest in yourself in 2023, what are some of those things that could pay off in interest? What are some of those things that just the act of doing it produces more positive things for you, right? Just putting your money in the bank produces more money passively. Interest is passive. You don't actively have to do anything to do it. You just have to make a choice to do something and then let it earn it for you. And I think that's a great way to think about earning interest on what you want to do in 2023. So improving who you are as a person. Are you going to have a better attitude? Are you going to be more positive, more optimistic? That will produce interest in your life. That will produce residual positive things that happen to you passively without you having to actively go do them. If you decide to be more active, that will have residual interest. You'll be healthier, you'll feel better, you'll sleep better, all those things. If you decide to eat cleaner, the same thing. Your body will feel better, you'll sleep easier. If you decide to spend more time with loved ones, that will have interest. And I think understanding that and measuring that and going, okay, not only am I reaching for this big goal, but I'm also wanting all these little things to happen, will help guide you. And so this concept of earning interest from investments that you make in yourself, I think very much applies to where we are today, trying to improve our overall life. And so that's something else to write down. Here's my goals. Here's how I'm going to get out in the cold. Here's how I'm going to invest in myself. Here's some of the interest that I think I can earn, that I think I can accrue by fill in the blank. For me, if I think about it for me, I've got to get back on track in my physical fitness. I've talked about that plenty. I want to become more positive in the workplace. And my new role that I've had for the past better part of a year, it's just been really challenging and frustrating. And I've become pretty negative with some of the teams that I have to work with. I have a low opinion of them. And I think that also brings interest. It just brings negative interest into my life, and I need to raise that up. Rising tide raises all boats. I've got to approach those elements of my work with a more positive attitude so that I can have some positive interest accruing and not the negative interest that I have, and building those relationships up and trying to improve everything about that. That's a big focus for me, is to approach my work more positively in 2023, even if it's stressful. That's a big focus for me. So think about those things and think about what's the interest that you can accrue so you can see, is it happening, right? You go log into your savings account, you can see that interest. Oh, I got 2 cents on my savings account in the last year. Hooray, right? What are those 2 cents? And hopefully they're more than that as you work your way through 2023. That's our Monday motivation. I hope you have a great Christmas week or whatever it is that you're celebrating this week. And we'll talk to you a whole bunch of videos along the way, but we'll definitely talk to you next Monday.